Hey everybody, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So for today's pick a card, we are going to be doing and answering the question, what makes you popular? So I'm kind of leaving this one a little open-ended today. If you've never done a pick a card before, we have 4 groups to choose from, each represented by a crystal on the table. You select your favorite or crystal you're most drawn to. For this one, I would even suggest selecting the crystal that you resonate with the most, like which one fits your personality the best. After that, you go to down to your selected group. Each crystal is aligned with a group, so group 1, 2, 3, and 4. You go down to the timestamps in the description box of the video or in the comment section, and you click your timestamp that is associated with your particular crystal that you chose. So that's how you really do a pick a card. You get into the reading, and then that delivers you your reading that's selected for the crystal that you picked. Without further ado, let's get into the crystals. So crystal number 1, we have Lapis Lazuli Palm Stone. For crystal 2, we have this Smokey Elestial Quartz. For crystal 3, we have this Kunzite. And for crystal 4, we have this gray Moonstone. So take all the time you need to pick your crystal. You can pause the video here if you need more time to select your crystal to get your chosen option. And with that said, we're going to get starting with group number 1, the Lapis Lazuli. Thank you guys again so much for being here with me today. I'm really looking forward to reading for you. Hey, group 1, this is if you picked the Lapis Lazuli Palm Stone right here. This will be your reading. So let's get into it. First, I want to draw a Spirit Animal Oracle deck from Colette Baron Reed's deck. Let's see, what card needs to come out for what makes group 1 popular? I'm feeling the heat actually right now. So we have Horse Spirit, Freedom is Yours, and Groundhog Spirit, Time to Let Go. So we'll pull those 2 for you guys. Then I also want to get a Moonology card. And we have this one that wants to come up. I'm only taking the top one, and it says, Hold Your Vision, Fixed Moon. And then I also want to get some tarot cards. I'm pulling from the Zach Wong Revelations Tarot today. Okay. This card wants to come out. We have the Lovers. I'm going to put that right there. Let's get a few other cards to come out. We have the Ten of Swords. We have the Moon. Actually, can I move these down a little bit? Yeah. And we have the Seven of Pentacles. See if I can. And I wanted to pull one more card. Hopefully there's enough room on the table. From the Citadel Fantasy Oracle by Fez Inkwright. And we have the Chiromancer. Actually, there's room for one more card, so I'm going to pull one more card. Let's see, what else can we get for group number 1 on what makes this one wants to come out? We have the Captain. Taking command, teamwork. Okay. Okay, let's get into it. I looked it over, got a few pieces of information, so let's just get right into the reading. Okay, so first, oh man, where to start? Let's start with the Animal Oracle card. So first, Horse Spirit and Groundhog Spirit. These both came up for your Animal Oracle card. Usually I was thinking of just pulling one card for today's reading, but you guys got 2. This just could indicate too that your personality is a little multifaceted, or you have like 2 sides to your nature. So on one hand, with freedom is yours, the horse spirit, I see that you guys are people who love your freedom. You love your free time. You love your ability to luxuriate in the kind of essence of not having any kind of responsibilities or things to do. It's kind of one of those things that makes you kind of seem very unique and free-spirited. And I think that people really appreciate this about you. With time to let go, I think another thing too is that people see you as someone who's not afraid to let go of something if it's not working for you. So people feel like you're very unencumbered is kind of the word that's coming to mind. With freedom is yours and time to let go combined, if I'm combining these energies, it's definitely showing me someone who is going to like go for their freedom in spite of personal attachments. So for example, I feel like you guys are people who, if something's not really working for you anymore, like a job or a friendship or something like that, or something's really outlived its usefulness for you, I feel like you guys let it go without worry is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And that gives you this feeling of being a very carefree spirit is kind of what I'm seeing. So you guys have this very carefree nature about you. With 3 and 1 breaking down to a 4 and 3 and 3 breaking down to a 6, I do see that there is this element of stability, structure, responsibility to your personalities as well. So it's not all just like fun and games for you guys, but you guys do have a way of keeping your life pretty free from hassle is kind of what I'm seeing. It's almost like you guys keep a really carefree attitude. And so this is kind of one thing that makes you popular is your carefree attitude. Horses and groundhogs could be prominent spirit animals for you, and maybe meditating with the thought of these animals could bring you more popularity in general. Also with the horse spirit here, I am seeing that if you guys ride horses or if you worked on a farm with horses or something like that, maybe something in school that brought you popularity was the fact that you had a horse. Maybe people in your friend group or something really liked the fact that you had a horse and they liked riding that horse or something like that. Also for physical features, I'm thinking of horse riding. I'm thinking of like really strong legs because I feel like you have to have strong legs to ride a horse. So I feel like what I'm seeing here is people might be attracted to your legs as a person, as far as like something that makes you popular physically, like people might sexually be drawn to you. And I want to get into that component sexually just a little bit because we have the lovers here, which people think you would make an amazing lover. I think there's always this feeling of flirtation with you guys. There's this feeling of teasing or lighthearted pranks or something like that that makes you kind of come off as like very flirty and like sexual in nature. And so I do see that people kind of like that lighthearted teasing kind of vibe that you have. People feel like you would be a very passionate lover, essentially. You have this kind of ability to kind of stimulate people in that realm. Kind of a very sensual side to you, basically. Let's get into some other factors too. I want to get into these cards real quick. With the Chiromancer and the Captain, this kind of also ties in with the Ten of Swords. We have delivering news, collaboration, and taking command, teamwork. The two things that are common in both these cards are collaboration and teamwork. I do see that you guys are great team players. I feel like you guys definitely are the types that like take one for the team. And you have this sense of responsibility to your commitments. So it's interesting because it kind of not necessarily contradicts, but it kind of counterplays this energy right here with the freedom is yours and time to let go, where you guys aren't afraid to let things go that no longer work for you. But if something is working for you and something that you really deem like reasonable in your life, and also something that you feel is important to you that you don't really want to give up or let go, I do see that you have this great sense of teamwork with those things. So for example, I feel like a lot of things that you don't let go of are like teams, groups, people that, in a way with the Captain, it says taking command. So groups that you're in charge of. I feel like people really find you to be this beautiful version of freedom and responsibility where you're not afraid to take care of responsibilities for your team. So for example, if you guys are managers at your boss or somehow, like work for a company or something like that, you are really well looked up to. I think that if you get into a position of management, especially at work or in a position of responsibility like that, people will really look up to you. Now it's interesting because I do see a little bit of a conflict where some people might not want to hire you for that management position because they see that you have this ability to be very carefree. They might think that group number 1 doesn't have what it takes to be a leader. And so I'm kind of seeing this as something that happens later in life where you guys kind of develop your leadership abilities. And in a way, you have this ability to lead a team in a very responsible fashion, right? I do see though, as a leader, if someone's not providing their best in the group, I do see that you guys aren't afraid, in a nice way, of course, but you're not afraid to let them go if they're not a fit for the company. And I think you'll talk to them diplomatically about this. Like, look, I've noticed you don't fit in here, or I noticed there's something about you in this company that's not really working, or I noticed your performance is suffering, something like that. I do feel like you guys have this ability to let things fall into their proper places, right? And this comes from not only like wanting freedom for yourself, but freedom for others. So if you feel someone's like tied down and unhappy in the work environment, you're not afraid to talk to them and let them know like, hey, I noticed something's up. And it might not even be letting them go, like letting them go from the job, but it could be just improving their conditions at work, right? It could be something like, like I really noticed you are not, doing that well here, or your performance is suffering. Is there anything I can do to make your stay here, or like how you're working with this company like even better, right? With teamwork and collaboration, I do see that you guys have this ability to get everyone to work cohesively. So part of the methods, right, that you're using to help people reintegrate with the group or to make them feel more comfortable at work is like team building exercises, icebreakers, stuff like that. With delivering news, I feel like you guys have this way of delivering news in this is something that makes you really popular, actually. It's like you have this way of delivering news to people that makes it feel very like sensational, or how do I put it? Not sensational necessarily, but exciting. Like there's something about when you say something or when you're delivering news to someone, people get really excited. They're like, whoa, interesting, like cool, like I never knew that. Or people might think that like what you're saying or the story you're telling is really interesting. I do feel like with the chiromancer here, we do have a palm, like a palm reader. And then in the captain here, we have two people shaking hands. So I do feel like one of this aspect too, and we have two lanterns above these hands too. I feel like one aspect of you guys with the chiromancer card here, there's this cool factor where it's like you can read people really well, right? With the palmistry, I think of reading someone's character, their personality, even their future to some extent. For some of you, you could even be into tarot or divination. You might actually be good palm readers in general, or you might get intuitive hits from looking at people's hands. Not necessarily like the lines in their hands or something, but maybe you've noticed people's hands all your life and you've noticed the shape of their hands, or you've noticed like different aspects about their hand. And something about a handshake too, like you can tell a lot about a person from a handshake is kind of what I'm seeing, or maybe a hug. If you're like in more informal settings, you can tell a lot about a person by a hug. I feel like you can really see the light in someone else by these kind of aspects in either their hands or a hug or something like that. So for example, you might hug someone and get a strong intuitive feeling like, wow, this person could be a really reliable worker. And you could get that all from a simple touch or a hug. So I feel like you guys might have, what's it called? What's that Claire where it has to do with touch? Like you can sense things through your touch. I can't think of the name, Claire something. Can't think of it right now, but it's basically where you get psychic impressions from touching things or touching people, or from the physical sensation of like you get information from touch. You guys could also, I'm not picking this up super strongly, but you could also get information from like touching objects, or like holding something in your hands and like analyzing something like that. But for the most part, I'm saying this primarily revolves around people, like the power of touch with people, either like touching someone's hand or giving them a handshake or hugging them. I feel like you guys have a really strong sense of like synergy when it comes to like merging with other people's bodies. That also comes from your guys' sensual nature with the lovers here. I feel like when you guys make an impact with someone or touch someone, so to speak, there is this vibe here that you kind of make an impression and people feel the warmth exuding off you is kind of what I'm seeing. I also see something else that makes you popular with the Seven of Pentacles here. We do see this guy kind of throwing a tantrum down here, and the guy on top who's like patient, crossing his arms, he's like waiting for him to stop, right? He's like, okay, I'll wait for you to throw this tantrum. I'll wait until you're done, until you're finished, and then we'll keep going on. We'll keep moving forward. I feel like you guys have this ability to be really patient with emotional outbursts, right? This also goes with that work thing where you're talking with employees, like if someone's upset at work, you take them aside, you talk to them, like, how can we improve how can we improve your experience here? It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I'm getting very much like someone who's very responsible, but also maintains their own freedom. Like, I can see you guys being really good managers at work, but then like really enjoying and capitalizing on your own private time away at home. Like, I definitely see there's this vibe here of like really managing your public and private lives with relative ease, like, and kind of keeping them really balanced and in check. Now, the thing that I haven't really talked about here is the moon card and hold your vision. With the moon card here, you guys are very intuitive, but sometimes anxiety gets in the way of your intuition is kind of what I'm seeing. And I do see it's kind of like a cycle. Like a vicious cycle is kind of what I'm seeing, where your anxiety is like trying to talk to your intuition, but then your intuition is trying to talk to your anxiety, and it kind of goes back and forth. This card specifically has like fairies in the upright, like all these dancing fairies, flying fairies around in the ocean, and then in the bottom it has like drowning sailors, right? So I do feel like at times you can feel like you're floating or you're higher than air, and then at other times you can feel like you're drowning, and this all can happen in the realms of your own mind. I also see with the moon representing Neptune that this could happen too when you're alone. I feel like when you guys are alone, you could turn to more anxiety-ridden thoughts. I think that's another reason why you guys enjoy work so much or enjoy teams so much, because you enjoy being with people. Because I see when you're alone, there could be a tendency to like deal with illusions or kind of seeing things in a skewed way because your anxiety and your intuition are kind of competing. So that might be something that you struggle with. Something that's important is when you do have that clarity of mind, hold your vision. Because I'm seeing that your inner world is so mercurial, right? It's so like moon is ruled by Pisces, and that's one of the what are those called? What's it called? Mutable planets, right? So it's always changing, right? The energy is always changing. With this fixed moon here, this is talking about fixed energy, and this is going to give you a form of stability, right? I feel like this is something that makes you popular too, because it's coming up in this reading for a reason. I feel like people are drawn to that inner instability that you have, even though on the outside you appear this like patient, calm person who like lets other people experience their emotions before you chime in, and you're kind of rational on the outside. On the inside, there's a sense of irrationality is kind of what I'm seeing. And one thing that I'm also seeing is that if you want to get rid of this irrationality, and something that's going to make you more popular is if you hold your vision. So for example, you might have an intuitive hit about something, and in a clarity or a moment, you might think like, oh man, my mind's so clear right now, right? Like, how come it's always so messed up or jumbled or ridden with anxiety, but right now it's so clear? How come in this specific moment it's so clear? And the point of that moment is to kind of write down your findings. You can either write it down or you can just remember it, but I would say write it down or put it somewhere where it's outside of your own head. Because I'm seeing that you can always look back on that, right? Because I'm seeing the outer world for you guys is more stable and calm. It's like you have more control over the outer world than you do the inner world, is kind of what I'm seeing. So with hold your vision, just write it down. Write those intuitive hits down when they're very clear. And because the moon, this ocean waves, right? It looks like there's a storm in this ocean, right? I feel like with you guys, it's like your inner world is always stormy. So in the moments when it does get calm, because I do see that there's moments where it is calm, it's important to pay attention to those insights and write them down. I think meditation could be beneficial for you guys. But at the same time, it's not necessary, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. With 10 of Swords here, here's something really interesting. With the swords piercing both people, you're not afraid to, how do I explain this? If there's something coming for your company, or there's some kind of unpleasant news or something like that, you're not afraid to share in the burdens with those that you work with. So for example, you're not going to be the one to kind of like, take all the wealth and leave the company squandering, right? Like and leave your employees like suffering. You're the type of person who, if there's a pay cut, you're also going to take a pay cut with your employees. You're going to say like, I'm in this with you guys. I'm also taking a pay cut. Like, I feel like you guys are the type of person, and this is something that makes you really popular. It's like you share the burdens with others. I'm seeing these two guys both stabbed with swords, and I see that you're equally sharing the burdens with other people. It's not like you're just this person that's like high on a cloud, just like talking down orders to everyone, making sure everyone follows your rules to a T, You're the type of person who like shares in those experiences with your fellow employees. Which is really beautiful. I think it's a very admirable trait. I think a lot of people, get greedy in life, and they just let the welfare of others, they let it fall to the wayside while they like luxuriate in their like abundance. And I see that you guys really take the time to like work with the whole team to get everyone into an abundant mindset. This reading is very work focused. And so I just want to make a little disclaimer here that if you guys are not in a managerial position, I'm seeing you that you do this with friends as well. I'm also seeing that what I mentioned earlier, where it's like might be hard for you to find a job in a leadership position, even though you guys might desire that because you guys have such a free-spirited nature. There is a vibe here that your friends could be the best recommendations for you in this new job. So for example, having a friend that you actually worked through a problem with, recommending you and explaining how you work through that problem with them could reflect positively. And an employer who's very intuitive and intelligent, which I'm seeing that you're probably going to be hired by someone like that to run a company or something like that. I do see that that person is going to really like listen to the recommendation of your friend and the story that happened, because they're going to see that and they're going to apply that to the work sphere. And I think that's what's going to get you guys some success in this lifetime, if you haven't already gotten that success. For some of you watching this, you're already in that managerial position. You're already working with a company. You're already managing people. For others of you, you're still in the free-spirited role that you're in right now, and you're kind of focused on your freedom, but you're also have these like responsibilities to your friends and your groups of friends and people that you are under your sway. I feel like you guys are very patient. You're very sensual too with the lovers here energy. It's like you have this sensuality to your personality. And also you share that responsibility with others. I would say the only weakness that you guys have is trying to figure out what's intuition, what's anxiety, what perception is real, what perception is false, that kind of thing. Because with the moon here, it talks about having an intuition, but it's a wild intuition. It needs to be harnessed, right? And so I do see that it comes in cycles, just like the moon. Every once in a while, you'll have a clear head. That's when you want to write down that vision, those visions, that you want to write down those plans for the future, because those clear moments are really going to be what you're going to want to hold on to when your intuition goes into other periodic upheavals, because, you know, the moon changes the tides, right? The moon is changing the way you're thinking. Doesn't necessarily have to do with the actual phases of the moon, but it could be. Maybe the actual phases of the moon really affect you guys on some level. And so it affects your intuition kind of. But yeah, I think that's all I've got for you, group one. So with that said, I'm going to end the reading there. If you guys liked or enjoyed this reading, please like or comment below. If you really enjoyed this reading and you resonated with my energy, feel free to subscribe to the channel. With that said, that was, we were going to move on to group two with the Smokey Elestial. Thank you guys again so much for watching. It was really an honor to read for you today. I will see you guys in the next pick a card. Bye. Hey, group two, this is if you picked the Smokey Quartz. So Elestial, Smokey Elestial Quartz. It's a very light colored one. It almost reminds me of like root beer. Like, I don't know, like if root beer was watered down or something like that. Okay, so let's get into your reading. So, oh, whoa, I just realized the lights are off. I'm going to turn the lights on. Okay. Okay, we're back. So let's get into your reading. We'll first start with the Spirit Animal Oracle card. I'm going to draw for you guys. We have for your what makes you popular, your card, we have Squirrel Spirit, Believe in Yourself. Then we are going to get a Moonology Oracle card by Yasmin Boland. And the Spirit Animal Oracle deck was by Colette Baron Reed, just so you guys know. So let's see what comes out for you guys on what makes you popular. This card wants to come out. So we have two actually that want to come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to put these two up here. We have What Do You Need to Release and Conclusions Are Within Reach. Then I think what we're going to do is get some tarot cards. This card wants to come out. We have Four of Wands. Love to see a good Four of Wands. And we also have, this one's coming out in reverse. We have King of Pentacles in reverse. We also have Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And let's see what else. I saw a card flip up. I'm just going to pull from the middle of the deck. Okay, and then we also have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Let's pull these down here. Okay. And I want to get 2 Citadel Fantasy Oracles by Fez Inkwright on the table. This one didn't want to go back on the deck, so I'm going to take it. We have the Sleeper. And we need one more. And we have the Thief. Wow. Okay, so we have some things here. The first thing I want to point out, we have the King of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Thief card indicating, and the Squirrel Spirit, honestly, indicating that you guys are pretty good with finances or money. So if you're not so good with money or finances, I would say this is probably not your pile. For most of you, with Wheel of Fortune in reverse, King of Pentacles in reverse, and the Thief card, I feel like a lot of you were dealt a really hard hand in life, at least monetarily. So for example, I feel like some of you didn't come from money, but you grew in your abundance. Like you grew and you learned to have an abundance mindset, even though you came from poverty. I do see that it's possible with the Thief card here at some point, you may have had to steal something, and it wasn't for like selfish reasons, I don't think. I think it was to like feed your family, or to have to like, there was something you had to do at one point that was, I think it was like to you, it was unethical, and you didn't like that you had to do it. And you were really upset that you had to do it. And I think that this left an impression on your personality that made you kind of think like, I don't want to have to resort to these methods ever again to achieve prosperity for my friends and family. There is this vibe here that you guys are a very ethical person. And the thing that I'm seeing here is that you had to go through this transition of being a thief, so to speak, a thief, which you weren't really a thief. You were really protecting those you loved, is what I see. But you had to do some unethical actions to help those that were in your patronage, is that the right word? That were in your care, that were under your care. I feel like you had to do some things that you weren't that proud of, is kind of what I would say for this card. Now, the interesting thing is here is you've actually gotten really good at capitalizing on positive opportunities. Now, the thing is I feel like you guys with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse here have been dealt a not so good hand in life. And part of your like destiny in this lifetime is to take that hand that you've been dealt and make it work to your advantage. So I feel like most people, how do I put this? Apologies for there's a lawnmower outside. Apologies if you guys are hearing that. But for most people, they were dealt like a really happy, positive, fortuitous hand in life, and they've really just dealt with that. Some people even squander that away, right? But I feel like for you guys, you weren't given a fair shot from the get-go. Like you weren't given a fair shot. You had to like become good with money, resources. You had to become good at survival all on your own, and you had to learn the survival skills by yourself and come out of this financial hole that you were stuck in. And one thing that I'm seeing is this is something that makes you really popular because people see that no matter what negative things are happening in your life, you know how to make money, or you know how to achieve prosperity in your life. And I'm seeing that there's this aspect of you where you've learned how to do it without being unethical. And I think that there's this beautiful thing where you guys have a lot of patience, is kind of what I'm seeing. And you have the ability to wait for the right time to happen. So with Wheel of Fortune being in reverse, it means that primarily in your life, you've been dealt, and you have been dealt, a lot of negative luck. I feel like you guys have had a lot of bad luck. But the thing is, you don't let it get you down. I see that you wait for this wheel to turn and then you capitalize on the positive moments in your life, is kind of what I'm seeing. With believe in yourself, this is kind of a key point that you guys have developed in your life. I feel like you guys strongly believe in yourself and your abilities and your capabilities. And I think it's been a long time coming. I feel like you guys really struggled with this at some point in your life and you really had to learn how to believe in yourself. For some of you watching my channel, for my younger viewers, you're still in this journey of trying to believe in yourself and realizing that you are the creator of your own destiny, right? No one else is controlling your destiny but you. And it's funny because the universe might try to control your destiny. You might have been dealt a heavy hand by fate. But what I'm seeing is the truth of the matter is you've come out on top, right? You're with like this squirrel here who's like these acorns. You can think of these acorns as like money or wealth. And this squirrel is sitting on this gigantic acorn that's like way too big for it. But this squirrel has accumulated these acorns just through the fact that they believe in themselves and they believe that they can do anything. So I feel like you guys are growing into this person who believes in your capabilities, essentially. And so it's one of those things where I feel like you guys really have come a long way. And if people can see this, I mean, this is what makes you popular. The stronger your belief in yourself, the more popular you become, is kind of what I'm seeing. It's almost like people see that you have this inherent faith in your own capabilities that makes you how do I put it, shine brighter than other people. And so that's kind of one thing that makes you really popular. Also, the fact that when you're down and there's bad luck, people see that you have great survival instincts. For example, if there's a lot of negative luck in your life, I see you guys, either saving for a rainy day or not letting it get you down or something like that, doing something along the lines of preparing for the future for when that positive upswing happens. Because I do see you guys capitalize on those changes in fate, basically. With King of Pentacles in reverse, I am seeing this coming through as a benefactor of some kind. I'm thinking that in one way, shape, or form, you'll have someone come help you in your life, or you guys are this benefactor yourself. With the King of Pentacles in the reverse, I think that you guys think about finances a lot. I think you guys think about money a lot. You think about how to become abundant. You think about how to be abundant. And I think that's something that that draws people to you, even if they're not conscious of it, or even if you don't talk to it about, even if you don't talk to them, what am I trying to say? Even if you don't talk to them about your inner thoughts, people are still drawn to you because of those inner thoughts. It's like a magnet that kind of attracts people. I think it attracts people who are with the King of Pentacles in reverse, who have money themselves, but also people who are looking for someone who can provide for them. So it attracts a lot of people who are also money-minded. But it's interesting, I don't see you quite talking about money that much with your friends, even though all of you are it seems like the people you attract are also very money-minded in general. With Thief seizing the moment, this is one of the main things I'm seeing. With seizing the moment in the Wheel of Fortune, I do see that you seize the moment. And that's something that comes up quite a bit in your life, is what I see. Because you believe in yourself and you have faith in your abilities, when the right moment comes, you take charge, you adapt, you jump in, you do the thing. And the thing that I'm seeing is this really gains a lot of respect from others. And it's something that makes you very, very popular. Another thing that I think makes you very popular with Four of Wands is just this general vibe of celebration, partying, having a good time. I feel like people find you to be really easygoing, really chill, really down to earth. I feel like people have a lot of fun with you. I see you guys celebrating a lot often with people, or enjoying the celebrations of others. Like, for example, maybe if you're not having any luck in your life, or there's a down period, I see you guys create celebrations and parties just for the heck of it, just to have a good time. And people really appreciate that. They're like, you know what? I needed this party. Like, everything was so down in the dumps, and so I needed this party. So I'm so glad Group 2 started this big party for me, because I feel like that, without this, I would have been down in the dumps. So I do feel like you guys throw celebrations for others. You have celebrations for yourself. You have this way of enjoying life, even when it's giving you lemons. It's like, how to turn that into lemonade, essentially. Also, you have this ability with conclusions or within reach to help people understand that their future and their golden opportunity is right around the corner, right? It's right around the corner. That, you have a way of making people feel like they are in the most special moment of their lives. And that's something that's really powerful, because I think that's what draws people to you. They think like, wow, group 2 really like saw something in me, and they really feel like I'm like unique or different, or this cool person. With sleeper, cause and effect, and clarity, I see that you guys have a strong ability to see the cause and effect of life. So for example, you see how, because you've had so many things like affect you when you were younger, and even if you're watching this now and you're like, man, my life is just a shit show, like I don't have any like luck or abundance or anything like that. You guys will grow and believe in yourself in time. And I do see, if you don't have friends right now, believing in yourself and learning to do that skill, I think that people will be more attracted to you in general. It's like having confidence. You know how like there's lots of YouTube videos on like, oh, get confidence and you'll gain so many friends and stuff like that. I feel like this is kind of like a way that you guys gain confidence, is through believing in your own ability to achieve what you need in life. And specifically on the prosperity level, the fact that you guys can make money and know how to make money. And I feel like you guys have that promise to yourself that you want to do it in an ethical way, is kind of what I'm seeing. So it's sleeper and cause and effect. Sorry, I'm going to get back to this right now. With cause and effect, you've had so many things happen in your life, and you've seen how that has changed your perspective and how you want to move and change your life from those effects happening to you. So you guys do get a little window into cause and effect relationships, right? Specifically how like circumstances alter a person's perspective on life. So for example, it could make someone who was given a poor beginning and make that person really want to achieve wealth and prosperity in their life. But you also see this go a little bit deeper. It's like you guys have this inside scoop on cause and effect. So for example, you might see someone who, maybe has never, been in a relationship, and you might see how that changes their perspective to either really want a relationship or maybe not see them as important. There's some way that you see how things affect people's perspectives, right? With clarity here, I feel like this is a very strong intuitive gift you have. And I do see that a lot of stuff with the sleeper here comes to you in dreams. Like a lot of ideas come to you in dreams. A lot of inspiration comes to you in dreams. I am seeing that with cause and effect here, I'm seeing that a lot of things in your life that are like circumstances in your life that are things that are happening in your outer real world, you start to see the cause and effect of those things in your dreams. You can kind of see how one thing leads to another within the whole sleeping process. There is a little message coming through with the Queen of Swords in reverse, talking about some friends you guys have that might be hindering your popularity. Obviously, if you love and cherish these friends more than popularity and you really care about these friends, I am saying just keep these friends. I mean, they're going to be worth more than being popular in general, but I am seeing some of these friends with Queen of Swords here in reverse. You do feel a little bit of shame about some of these friendships. It's like some of your friends act in outrageous ways or in ways where you don't approve of their behavior. And so one thing that I'm seeing is you feel a little bit of a shame about your friendships or your connections. It's like, man, why do they have to always act like this? It's like you guys throw those parties and have a good time, but sometimes when what comes with parties and good times is people acting like really dumb, like, people acting like a fool, right? And so I feel like these people act just really immature or really irresponsible. I also see with the Queen of Swords being in reverse, they don't follow like social etiquette for the most part. They don't follow the trends of the time. These are people who are kind of like more like outcasts, but in a way where they're like purposefully wanting to be outcasts, if that makes sense. So I feel like they just don't go along with the flow is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. They're kind of counterculture in a way. And I do see some of these people you have really strong ties to, like you really appreciate them, but there's just this part of you that just you feel irked by like things that like are happening with them or things that they do or say in social situations. This is the type of person who might just say the awkward thing, especially being a swords card here, because it's like the truth or what they perceive to be the truth. And they believe that like, I'm just going to say this because I don't care who I hurt in the process. Like, this is just going to be the truth. So I do see that these kind of friends make you feel a little bit ashamed, right? With this sword over here and her turning the sword away, I do see that these friends are actually distancing you specifically from seeing the truth. So for example, we have the sleeper here with the clarity. I do see that when you're asleep, the truth is very clear, right? The cause and effect is very clear. And for you, it's very clear. But because these people are manipulating the truth in a specific way, it kind of causes you guys to almost abandon the truth. And I don't want to say that exactly, but it causes you guys to realize that, like, it just reflects badly on you and your ability to share the truth. Is kind of what I'm seeing. So for example, they might say something, and because they said it, it might relate to you, and people might think that you're being false or that you're not sharing the truth because this person said something kind of quote unquote truthful, right? But it's more of like they said something that's like a blunt truth or like a ridiculous truth, if that makes sense. Yeah, I am just seeing, in a sense, you feel some shame towards these friends. And I am seeing with this card right above here, what do you need to release with waning moon? I do see that these friends are actually some karmic connections from the past that have come into your life to be here so you can learn a lesson, and specifically learn the lesson of learning the cause and effect and clarity and stuff like that. I think a lot of these friends, you've helped through some struggles with your sense of clarity. You've been there for them. You've shared the truth with them, but they either didn't appreciate it, or they did appreciate it, but they just need a little more guidance or something before they're going to change their personality. A lot of these connections, I'm going to be honest, are going to fade out of your life, especially with what do you need to release, especially because it's a waning moon. I do see that kind of like the moon is kind of losing its touch, essentially, if you can imagine that. It's like these people are kind of going to slowly fade out of your life, even if they're in your life right now. And even if you're a young person and you're like meeting these people for the first time, these people are going to fade out of your life eventually. I do see that you're going to have stronger connections, specifically with people who have clarity like you do. And also with the what makes you popular, with these King of Pentacles energy, you're going to be attracting a lot of people who are money-minded. And I do see you get a lot of strength from these people. Yeah, it's like the difference between a more practical, earthy energy, like someone who's more grounded and down to earth, versus someone who's more like argumentative, someone who's more not afraid to share their opinion in the face of others. In general, this is just someone who doesn't follow social etiquette, is kind of what I'm seeing mainly. But yeah, a lot of these people will release naturally throughout your life. You can release them early if you want to. If you're just sick of these people and you're like, I want them out of my life, you can release them early. For some of you, this release might be more difficult because it's like part of you knows that this person's bad for you, and the other part of you is like, I still love them. Like, I still really care about them, and I want them to succeed, and I want them to be happy. So I do see that these releases will come in your future, whether... It's interesting. I don't see any of these people. I feel like all these people that I'm referring to here are people you do have doubts about. It's not just like your best friend that you don't have doubts about that you have to release. That's not the person you have to release. It's people that you have doubts about that you're not quite sure if they need to be in your life, and they're people who hinder your popularity. They kind of repel people away from you, is kind of what I'm seeing. So anyway, these people will naturally release over the course of your life. So whether you release them early or not, over time, they will naturally release. So if you're getting cold feet and you're like, man, I don't really want to give them up, there's still something there that I feel is worth salvaging. That's probably true. The point is that eventually they're going to fade out of your life. It's not just like, it's not going to happen, like, how do I put this? It's not going to happen in a rough or dramatic way. I don't see it. It just kind of, especially with the waning moon here, I'm thinking of the phase of the moon slowly changing. And so I do see this is kind of something that's going to slowly change. And as this slowly changes, it's also another factor that's going to make you more popular. I see as some of these friends leave your life, more people will come in, more supportive people, more people who are money-minded. It's so funny because this whole concept of like being money-minded but not talking about money is coming through so strongly. Like, I feel like you guys are just so people who treasure and want abundance, and you're around other people who are like the same way. I feel like security is very important to you guys. Safety is important to you guys. You might have even felt unsafe earlier in life or something like that. With the Wheel of Fortune, I've seen a lot of bad luck happen to you early in life, or you've come from a mindset or a place in life where you had to deal with poverty consciousness or something like that. Yeah, one of the main keys that you can work on right now is what I'm seeing is believing in yourself and learning how, because you guys have a natural ability to maneuver in the world and attract wealth. I'm going to tell you that right now. You do. It's one of those things too with the thief here, seizing the moment and selfishness. Sometimes you have to be a little selfish to attract wealth. But I am seeing one thing about that is that you don't have to sacrifice your ethics to do so. It's like, it's okay to want and desire things. Even, it's okay to like want transactions and, however you make your money. But, as long as you do it in an ethical way is kind of what I'm saying. With seizing the moment, I do see that you guys have this ability to seize on opportunities of positive luck, mainly because you see them so clearly, because you can contrast those moments of positive luck with the moments of negative luck. It's like, because you can see, it's like black versus white. It's like the colors are just so contrasted right next to each other. So you can easily see one because of the other. Where other people, if they live in a more gray world, maybe they grew up with abundance and they don't really know how to attract abundance because they're kind of like, they don't see that black and white of the situation is kind of what I'm seeing here. They just kind of have like these other people kind of have, it's interesting. They just don't have a journey like this. They might have wealth their whole life or a natural form of abundance, but people like you guys actually could achieve a huge amount of wealth in this lifetime if you learn to believe in yourself and your own abilities and learn that fate is in your hands, truly is in your hands, Also, I can't reiterate this enough. The fact that you make people feel like their life is at their fingertips or that they control their own destiny with conclusions or within reach makes people feel like what they want is just around the corner. People also feel like what you get is kind of just around the corner. Even though you deal with some bad luck and stuff, people feel like what you want is just around the corner. I think I've read all the cards adequately. I feel like I haven't missed anything. So I'm going to end the reading there. If you guys like this reading, please like or comment below. If you really enjoyed this reading and you resonated with my energy, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We're always welcoming new subscribers here at Cody Tarot. And with that said, I'm going to move on to group 3 with the Kunzite. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I really enjoyed reading for you today. I hope this reading helped in some way, shape, or form. And I will see you guys in the next pick a card. Bye. Hey group 3, this is if you picked the Kunzite crystal. So this will be your reading all about what makes you popular. So let's start with an Animal Oracle card from the Colette Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. Let's get an Animal Oracle card for you guys. Let's see. What makes group 3 popular? We have 2 animals. We have Stag Spirit and Skunk Spirit. We have Know Your Worth and Take the Lead. Then we need a Moonology card for you guys. This deck is by Yasmin Boland. Okay, I'm going to draw for this one. And your card is Be Bold and Make the First Move. I'm going to put this on top of that a little bit. There we go. Next, I want to draw some tarot cards. This is from the Revelations Tarot by Zach Wong. This deck's actually pretty cool. It has images for the reversed and the upright. Okay, we got the Empress. I'm going to put that over there. And let's see what else is coming through. Anything else that needs to come up? This one wants to come out. We have the Five of Swords in reverse. And this one wants to come out. We have the Nine of Swords, and we also have the Star in reverse. Then I want to get the Citadel of Fantasy Oracle by Fez Inkrite. I want to pull 2 cards from this deck. this card doesn't want to go back in. We have the Painter. We have Productivity, Creation. I'm actually going to move these over to the side a little bit so we can get room for one more card. And let's get one more card. Oh, I love the symmetry between this card and the star card up here. I wonder if those are connected. Okay, let's see. Let's get one more card. I'm going to draw off the last card for you guys. And your last card, we have the Champion, Achievement and Downfall. Wow, okay. So it just kind of all fit together just now for me for this reading. Okay, let's get started. We have a few cards here that are tied in together, and then some that seem kind of like a contradiction, but they're not really. Like, for example, with the Star card in reverse in the Painter, we see some of your shyer sides, the sides of you that are more reserved from people and that want some more time alone. And then on the other hand, with Stag Spirit, take the lead and be bold and make the first move. You have a very extroverted quality here about you where you actually are the type of person to start projects or be bold and make the first move. So for example, when you're in relationships, you're always the one to start the conversation. You're always the one to reach out first, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. So I also feel that if you've had a lot of conflict over this in the past, like maybe you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't reach out. Because we do see with the Star card here, it represents a little bit of shyness. Like maybe I should be being more shy. Maybe I should be being more reserved. We see here that one thing that's going to really help you out in general is just being bold and making the first move and just taking the lead in situations in general, right? I feel like you guys are natural leaders. You're natural leaders. You're natural take charge people. And I really do feel like this comes from, with Skunk Spirit, Know Your Worth, a lot of your self-confidence. I think a little bit, sometimes the Skunk Spirit, you guys might think you're a skunk, or sometimes you might think like, you know, and this might be like just a fleeting thought, right? Like this might be a thought that just kind of barely touches your mind, but you might have a thought like, you know what, I'm kind of like a skunk, or I stink, or something like that. Like you guys might think negatively about yourself sometimes, but truthfully, you guys have a strong sense of self-confidence compared to most other people. It's like, yeah, I would beg to say that you guys know your worth quite well in this world. You know what you're worth, you know your talents, you know your abilities. I feel like in a job situation, or if you were to apply for a job, immediately people would hire you because you have that confidence about you. I don't think kind of like group 2 where they had to learn to believe in their skills and abilities and kind of their talents and their way they had to move in the world. I feel like you guys just know how much you're worth. You know what your value is. So where the other group 2 kind of had to work on it, I feel like for you guys, it's kind of an inherent quality. It's almost like you've had it your whole life. You kind of know you're the bee's knees and you're meant for these great things in life, essentially. With Stag Spirit, Take the Lead, I feel like this is the area where it could benefit you to take a more of a leadership position in your life. I do think naturally you do take the lead, but for some of you, especially my female viewers, if you're really suppressing that divine masculine energy in you and it's really wanting to come out, I'm seeing that being bold and making the first move, even in like relationships. I just watched a show, actually. I watched Charmed, the original from like, I don't know, 1998 or something like that, or 2002. I don't know what year it was somewhere around there. I watched the original Charmed, and there's a scene where Piper, her first kiss with Leo, she's like, how do you feel about women who make the first move? And he's like, love them. Or I'm waiting for it to happen. It's never happened yet. And she's like, screw it. And she just does it. I feel like it's one of those things. When you guys start making the first move, you still start getting stuff in life that you want. It's almost like with this Star card, this shyness kind of can be to your detriment. Now, that's not to say, I think some of you are watching this and being like, well, I'm really shy, or I do have that side of me that's really shy, and I can't be bold and aggressive all the time. Like, I'm both, Cody. Like, I'm masculine, I'm divine masculine and divine feminine. I see that in you guys. And I do see there is kind of a solution here that's going to actually increase your popularity, and it's something that already makes you popular if you're already doing this. But for the most part, being bold and making the first move is going to be so refreshing to other people. I think you have such a charisma about you and you have such a strong sense of yourself that when you make the first move with other people, it immediately instills in them a sense in their value. They immediately feel valuable in your eyes and around you, and they feel like, whoa, I'm worthy of being this person's friend. wow, that's such an amazing compliment. Like, of course I'll be your friend, or of course I'll be, and it's almost like you have to take the lead for this to happen, or else people wouldn't know. It's like you could be that aloof introvert where people are like, whoa, yeah, they know their worth. Like, they're definitely a strong person, but they would never be my friend, you know? I think you attract a lot of people that would, how do I put this? A lot of people in life that would be good friends for life are people that if you reached out first, you made the first move with them, they would immediately be like, oh, this person's reliable, this person's valid, this person is someone serious that I can take seriously, and they would become your friend. I think a lot of these people are just purely by pure sheer intimidation or intimidated by you. But if it's one of those things where it totally cancels out, if you take the lead and you say, hey, you know, like, how about we become friends? And then this person's going to say like, whoa, I would have never thought you'd have asked me, but because you're asking me, yes, of course. Like, I think a lot of people are more reliable than you guys realize. It's just a matter of them being intimidated by you. It's not necessarily that they are like flaky or anything like that, or they don't care about you. It's just that they're intimidated. And as soon as you take the lead and you say like, hey, want to be friends? I feel like in your life, you guys, when you guys have been bold and made the first move, usually you succeed. It's almost like you're meant to be leaders. This is very cardinal energy. You're meant to be leaders. You're meant to take the lead. You're meant to be bold and make the first move. You're meant to invite other friends out to hang out with you. If you guys feel shy and reserved, which I'm seeing you do get in moods where you feel this way, it's one of those things where it doesn't necessarily bring you power, so to say, but there is a solution here and for it to bring you power in general. I'll get into that right now, actually. So with the star card here, I see that with it being in reversed, it's like your energy naturally tends to dim sometimes. So where it might feel normal to be assertive and aggressive at times and kind of make the first move, and it feels very comfortable in that position, I do see at other times you guys have a shyer side to your personality that emerges every once in a while. Maybe you're just out of energy and you just need to feel shy, or you need to be reserved. I'm seeing that with the painter here, with productivity and creation, a lot of your time introverted and away from the public eye. I'm seeing with the painter tying in with those two colors, right? With the color of the background here and the color right here. I'm seeing that with the painter card, with productivity and creation, you could be very productive with your alone time. It's almost like the stuff that you create in your alone time could actually help further your popularity in general. It's like whatever products you work on, whatever creations you create, people appreciate those. So it's almost like you have two sides to yourself. You have that side that wants to take the lead and talk to people, and you have that side that kind of is like, if you make the first move, you will get so many friends and admirers. You guys are just the ones, you're my group that like, honestly, all you have to do is try and you'll become popular. Like all you have to do is like make that first step, take that first step, and people will just be at your beck and door, right? Like you'll have friends for life just because you initiated. Now with painter here, productivity and creation, and the star card, when you feel more shy and you feel like taking a break from your friend group, which I'm seeing happens, I think this is also something where you feel like, you know, why am I going to start a friendship if I can't complete it? You know, I'm kind of getting that vibe from you guys, and I'm seeing that your friends aren't going to mind. It's like if you take a break from them to be shy and alone, they're not going to mind. You're such a powerful person that even if you need alone time, they realize you'll still be there in the future. You know, and it's not really about your reliability. It's more about their reliability. You're attracting reliable people, loyal people to you. Even though you're the ones who are making the effort initially, the other people are the ones who have the staying power. Like they're going to last for a long time because they were so intimidated by your presence to begin with that they revere you as this magnificent being, like this magnificent stag, right? So one thing that I'm seeing is when you go alone or introverted to yourself, you're going to get really productive and creative. I'm seeing that you have a natural inclination to be productive when you're alone. When you're working alone, you have a natural ability to be the type of person that can really get a lot done and make wonderful and beautiful creations. With the painter here, you might actually, taking up a career or hobby in painting could be very beneficial. I'm drawn in this reading, not so much in the other ones, but in this reading with the water symbol and the air symbol, I am drawn to say that like when you go in introverted and you productive and creative, you're going to be more in tune with your intuition as well. And it's going to help you make better decisions in your life. This productivity you do by yourself and this creativity, you might even feel like staying there for prolonged periods of time. Now, if you stay in this period for prolonged periods of time, of course your popularity is going to wane because you're focusing on yourself, right? But I think at that point, you guys don't even care. You're just working on yourself, right? I think for those of you who are in this stage right now and you've been alone or spent some time alone, if you've spent a lot of time alone, it might be time to get out there and make that move with some other people, because I do see you'll attract a lot of people to you as long as you take the first step, say that you're interested in someone, and as soon as you do, I think those people are gonna really just like want to be your friend back. You know, it's one of those things. With Nine of Swords, I do see you have a lot of people who will stand up and take defense for you. We see this woman right here, and she's like in tears, and there's all these swords around her. Also with the Five of Swords, I am getting the fact that a lot of your problems are in your head. Not to minimize your issues or anything like that, but I'm seeing that a lot of your problems are kind of self-created or generated by you in a sense. And I do see that you have a lot of people who are ready to stand up to bat and defend you. This is another thing that makes you popular, is that people want to defend you. They're definitely the type of, this is definitely the type of energy where people want to like stand up and protect you or help you out or defend you in the case of other people. Specifically with all these swords, I do see that you guys may have struggled in the past with specific enemies who are jealous of you. I do see that these friends, the more friends you acquire, the more protection you will have from these enemies, is kind of what I'm seeing. Also with the Five of Swords, I do feel like you guys are worried about being betrayed. I don't see this happening. I do see with it being in reverse, this is kind of something that's just in general in your head a little bit. It's not something that's technically going to happen, and it's not going to happen. At least it won't happen in the way you think it's going to happen. You know, it's going to happen in a way, if it does ever happen, that's way less intense than you're imagining. I think you guys have a strong, with the Nine of Swords here, a tendency to have anxiety or imagine things that aren't necessarily really going to happen. And with the Five of Swords here, I do see this woman, she's like in grief, right? And she has these like two swords behind her, right? She's equally matched with this person who has these two swords behind him. He just has this sword pointing at her. It's like almost like you guys, with these swords pointing at this woman too, it's like you guys are worried that you're worried that a part of you is going to betray yourself. It's like you're worried that part of you is actually going to betray you, or you're like worried that, man, what if this part of me that I don't trust is going to betray me? I do see for the most part, you're protected from all of this. It's like you fear it. You fear that you're going to self-sabotage, but really you tend to not self-sabotage. I do think if you think too much into these anxieties, that can be part of the reason why you have a downfall. But I do think even in your lowest moments, when you share these anxieties with other people, or you share your fears with other people, it draws more people into you. It's like people see you as the strong figure, and then as soon as you show weakness, it adds more to your human side, and they're like, whoa, they're so strong and they have a human side. Like, wow, they're so attractive. They're so amazing. So with this achievement and downfall, I do see you guys are kind of in a weird way protected from both sides. It's like when you have these downfalls in your life, you're protected because you have these people who support you and defend you and care about you and want to listen to you. And also with the achievement card, when you do have these achievements, specifically from these introverted times where you're productive and creative, you can gain a lot of achievement from that. And that is what also draws people into you. It's like people are drawn not only to your confidence, your energy, your leadership abilities, but they're also drawn to your creations, what you create, your painting, your artistry, stuff like that. So for those of you in this group who lean more to the shy side, I do see you gaining more popularity with people based on your creations, what you create for the world, how you express yourself, stuff like that. And for those of you who are a little more extroverted and social, I see that you taking a leadership role, being bold, making the first move, you can attract and create a whole wealth and plethora of people around you that is like an army that can like protect you from any kind of negative influence, is kind of what I'm seeing. With the Empress card here, one thing just to add to your popularity is you are amazingly beautiful. With the Empress here, the Empress to me is my card about beauty, and it's in the upright, which just shows that you guys have a crazy aura. You have a crazy beauty to you, physical beauty. Even if you guys aren't in shape, or you think you're like not that fit or something like that, people are still physically drawn to you. They're physically drawn to your appearance. They're physically drawn to your face structure, your body. Specifically with the Empress here, it could be your body specifically. Empress also represents Venus. So for some of you, you have really wavy or curly hair, and people are really drawn to how lush and amazing your hair looks. Also with the Empress here, Empress can represent creativity, because this is a recent interpretation I've come to find with it, because the Empress can talk about motherhood and like being pregnant. And with productivity and creation here, I do see that your creations are as beautiful as you are as a person. I do think that people through your creations can see the beauty that you have within you, as far as like how you truly are as a person and how you truly present yourself. It's almost like people get a little glimpse into the inner world when they're looking at some of your creations, and they like what they see. They're definitely very attracted to that part of you that expresses yourself in that way. Yeah, just to reiterate about some of the fears you guys have, you guys do suffer from a lot of anxiety, so I feel for you. But it's like, even though you suffer from anxiety, you have this confidence about yourself that I think you've had since birth. So it's like, you've had this amazing, confident ability to present yourself in a regal manner, right? But it's almost like, in order to achieve the popularity, you just have to reach out and make the first move. And the reason why you guys have to make the first move is because people are purely just intimidated by you. So it's going to be rare that someone comes up to you and makes the first move by you, because they're so intimidated that you have to make the first move. That's what the struggle is. If you are attractive or beautiful, you're gonna repel people who make the first move, because it's a dominance thing. It's like, when you're so amazing and you have so much confidence, people won't be the ones to make the first move towards you, if that makes sense. That's just how it is. But the thing is, the people that will, how do I put this? The people that you make the first move to, you're going to have a loyal following, because those people that were too shy or intimidated, once you reach out to them, they'll be loyal to you for life, because that's just how the nature of it works, basically. I do see that you guys specifically too have this way of choosing your friends. Like, if you're drawn to specific people, even if they're shy and you don't know why and you're just drawn to them, that is a signal to have that person as a friend, or to reach out and at least try and make that first move. Yeah. With Five of Swords, don't worry about betraying yourself. Don't worry about other people betraying you. I don't think it's going to happen. And if it does happen, it'll happen in such a weak form that it won't even affect you, essentially. I really, this self-worth that you guys have, I don't see as being able to be shaken. I do see, though, with these anxieties, it could give you that fleeting mention of like, well, maybe I'm not worth it, or maybe I'm not. And that might thought race through your head every once in a while. I do see, though, that it races through your head way less than other people. But for you guys, I can see it still is an issue. That's why these cards came up. And just know you have people who have your back. One thing that I'm seeing that might be difficult for you guys is to communicate when you're in a down place, or when you're feeling down and out, or like hurting or something like that, or you're dealing with these anxieties. But I do see with these two cards and with Downfall here in Champion that people will be there for you. And especially with this guy holding these swords away from this woman, I do see that you are protected very much so from your own anxieties if you build a solid friend group or a social circle. Even like people who are creators, who are doing creations, I think a lot of people who view your creations will also defend you. It might be a little easier for people to defend you who like know you personally, but if you're the more extroverted version of this type. But for the most part, and all of you, I'm saying, I know I'm talking about someone being more extroverted version and more a shy version. I think that you guys, there's people in this group that lean one to the other, but for the most part, you guys go back and forth, right? So when you're in your mood, where you're feeling you're more divine feminine, you're being more introverted and stuff like that, I do see with this painter, productivity, creation, that's going to be beneficial. And when you're feeling more social and extroverted, don't just go out and like not make it tact. It's like, you got to be bold and make that first move, and you'll attract people, you'll attract friends, you'll attract activity, you'll attract relationships. All right, I'm going to end the reading there. If you guys like this reading, please like or comment below. If you really enjoyed the reading and you resonated with my energy, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We're always welcoming new subscribers here at Cody Tarot. And with that said, we have one more group to go. We have the Moonstones. We'll be doing that in a second. I just wanted to really thank you guys for letting me read for you. It was an honor. It was a pleasure. You're really interesting people, and you got a lot going for you. I'm going to be honest. It's probably easier for you guys to be popular than most other people. And part of that is just because when you take the initiative, you can achieve a lot. So keep that in mind, and I will see you guys in the next pick a card. Bye. Hey, group 4, this is if you picked the Moonstone, this lovely gray Moonstone right here. So let's get into your reading. Let's start with the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. This one kind of flipped out. Let's see if, yeah, Swan Spirit. Time for a deep dive. And then let's get some Moonology Oracle cards by Yasmin Boland. Let's see, what cards want to come out for group 2? We have this card, Bring Love into the Situation. Then I want to get you some tarot cards. These are the Revelations Tarot by Zach Wong, if you guys are curious about this deck. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to draw these cards for this pile. We have 5 of Wands reversed, 9 of Wands reversed, 5 of Pentacles upright, and 8 of Cups reversed. And then I want to get 2 cards from the Citadel Fantasy Oracle by Fez Inkwright, and then we'll get right into your reading. This card wants to come out. We have the Enchanter, Deception and Trickery. Let's see what else we have here. This one wants to come out. We have the Twins, Self-Protection, Dual Natures. Very cool. Okay, so let's get started with this reading. There's a few things. Well, first I want to address what you guys are probably going through. For some of you, you don't have too many friends right now, or you are the type of people that are more loners. So when you're coming here asking what makes you popular, or kind of trying to figure out what that is, it's almost like you guys are not necessarily the most popular people in general, but that's not to say that you can't become more popular or that more people will like you in the future. It's just that right now I'm seeing there are some elements that are repelling people away from you, okay? And we're going to talk about how to reverse most of those and a few tips and tricks in how to getting yourself into a more popular mindset, because the answers are in the cards. But because they're showing up, we have a lot of, like, we have the 5 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands, or 5 of Wands, 9 of Wands, and 5 of Pentacles. We have, like, these elements here, especially with the Enchanter, with Deception and Trickery. We have some elements here where people don't feel like, with 5 of Wands, people don't feel like you're cooperative. This, I'm sorry, you guys, this is, this is gonna, hopefully, like, trigger warning, because this, I'm gonna be talking about some points that people view you as, and we're going to talk about how to reverse them. So if you really want to work on yourself, continue watching this reading. If you don't want to hear negative stuff about you, first of all, I feel like you're the type of group who wants to hear the truth first and foremost. So if you're not that type of person, I would say pick another pile, because I feel like with you guys, if you pick this pile, or if this is really the pile for you, I feel like the people drawn to this pile are ready to hear this message. So you have to, like, check in with yourself before this reading, because I am going to be covering a little bit more of critical aspects about your personality, and then we're going to be going over how they're misrepresented and how they could truly represent, and little tips and tricks to, like, help you get through it, basically. So let's get into it. Okay, so yeah, viewers beware. Okay, so with 5 of Wands, first of all, people in general feel you're very argumentative. They feel like you are not afraid of conflict, and you're not afraid to get in other people's faces when their opinion differs from yours. And it doesn't really come so much from wanting to be right or wanting to be the person who's right in the room, as just a desire for friendly competition. I feel like you guys need a little spice in your life. Like, you need a spicy environment is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. So for example, I think people in general who are not ready to battle it out, or who don't want to debate, they tend to shy away from you, or they tend to kind of engage with you, because I'm seeing here that, like, on one hand, you don't present yourself like that up front. You don't present yourself like someone who wants to debate or wants to argue. You guys kind of have this as, like, an invisible feature of yourself, but then it comes out all of a sudden, and people are like, whoa, where did this come from? Like, I'm not dealing with this. Like, this is just a hassle. Why would I put up with this person, right? That's kind of the vibe, the general vibe of people feeling this way. But in general, I'm going to get over how to cover all these things. So don't, if you guys are like triggered at first, don't worry. I'm going to get into points where it's like we're covering how to get out of it and stuff like that. A lot of this has to be with bringing love into the situation, treating people like they're human beings, not like they're pawns to fight against. I think that if you guys, how do I put it? There's a deep unlocking of love that I see coming in your future that's going to attract many, many people to you. And it's not going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to be a comfortable feeling when people are attracted to you. Okay, so let's get into other things. The other main thing that I'm seeing in general because there's really only two things that really are repelling people from you. With the Enchanter, Deception, Trickery, people feel like you are more powerful than them. I'm just going to be honest. They feel like you're more powerful than them. And in a way that scares them because they sense in you that they either feel like you're not the most honest, or they feel like you're deceiving them or you're tricking them in some way. So I do see that the perception of some people towards you is that you are less than forthright, is kind of the vibe with the Enchanter card, and you're not afraid to toy with them. There's this very like feeling that you're like a cat and they're like mouse, right? It's almost like group 3 was very powerful in general, but powerful in a way that was intimidating rather than threatening. And you guys have more of a threatening presence is kind of what I'm seeing. So with the Enchanter, Deception, Trickery, people feel like, well, maybe they're tricking me. Maybe they're coming at me from this angle where, oh my gosh, like, what are they saying to me? Like, I don't like this. I don't like feeling disoriented. A lot of this is like, there's like a lot of weird things that are going to, like with the twins right next to Enchanter, I'm just seeing that, I'm going to be honest with you guys, a lot of situations where you want to be, how do I put this, where you're attracting people. With the twins here, if you find someone who is like a twin to you, so this could be like a brother or a sister, or this could be like someone who has a lot of similar interests to you, or someone who you have a psychic telepathic connection with. If you go out and meet someone with this this element, right, who like has a protective influence over you, I see that a lot of these struggles kind of fall to the wayside or don't really affect you. With twins, I'm just seeing that it might help to go out with someone who's your own gender. I know twins can be different genders if they're fraternal, but I'm seeing if someone is the same gender or the same orientation or something like that as you, it could benefit to go out with someone like that and to meet people. Also with the twins here, it could benefit you with this Deception and Trickery to not be perceived this way. With the twins, it could benefit you to meet people in pairs, to go out and meet other couples. So it's going to be one or the other for you. Either you go out with a person, you meet people together, or when you're meeting people, make sure you meet couples or people who are already pre-established couples. Because I am seeing a lot of that Deception and Trickery gets erased in the presence of love. So for example, if you're meeting a couple or a married couple and you want to be friends with them, I am seeing that like that couple, specifically the love between them, counteracts this vibe of deception and trickery, and they're going to see you for who you truly are, right? So with twins here with dual natures, it's talking about relationships. Like a couple who truly loves each other, they can have dual natures to each other. They could be opposites in a sense, and kind of in a way, like these couples that you meet out in public, they're going to be people who feed off each other and balance each other out pretty easily. So I feel like because they have so much love between them, this vibe of this couple with the Enchanter here is going to kind of show some light on this deception and trickery, essentially, and kind of get people to see you for who you really are. Because I am seeing this is more of like a shadow card, right? I see that there's a sense like you guys have a little bit of a darkness about you. And in a way, it's interesting because this also makes you attractive to some people. I am seeing, though, that ultimately it repels people in general. It's like this mystery or this attractiveness or this subtlety about you really pulls people in. But because this is represented by an air symbol here, it does represent freedom, and eventually that is going to repel people a little bit. Or just make people want to keep some distance or talk to you later, or not like get really close right away or something like that. So to get that really intuitive, deep communication that you guys are looking for with the twins here, protecting yourself is important. Yes. I'm hearing it's very important, but also with the dual natures, it's equally important to find people who love each other or who are in love with each other or loving environments, right? Not necessarily... And it's almost like true love is kind of the equation here. And it's almost like you guys are a little truth detector for true love. And I wouldn't... I wouldn't start utilizing that gift right away, because I do think this is something that's going to come to you in time, like over time, and it's only going to come to you once you start expressing your own love towards others, right? Or once you start feeling love towards others. You guys might be people who really maybe sometimes just don't like other people, you know? And so I think that when you guys start figuring out how to love and appreciate others, other people will start to love and appreciate you. That's when your little detector of like true love will come into play, and you'll soon be able to see what's true and false love, because it's like you've been on both sides of the equation. With Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive paired in with bringing love into the situation. Something that could help is taking a deep dive into yourself and finding the love that you feel for yourself to start with before you find love for others. It's not necessarily an either or situation. You can find love with other people before you find love for yourself, but it's kind of a journey that in more ways than one walks hand in hand. So with this Five of Wands card, I do see once you start to bring love into the situation, you'll attract more people into your life, and you'll feel less of a need for argument and competition, mainly because you're attracting true, deep, real love. It's like none of this fake love that people talk about. It's like true, deep, real love that you're attracting into your life, whether that's through meeting couples that are really solidified in their relationship, or through meeting other people in like really loving environments. But the thing is, with this Five of Wands, I do see that this love brings that stimulation that you're looking for, that you kind of want to debate all the time. And I also see that like debating with people who are feeling that love to you already, it kind of eliminates the tension, if that makes sense. So for example, if you, and I'm not saying like an outright argument like is okay, right? Like that's not okay, especially if people don't like to argue with you, or they don't like that tension in communication. It's not helpful for anyone really. But with bringing love into the situation, you can have disagreements with people and share opinions and share differences of opinion and have a real honest discussion, with a loving discussion, right? And people will still be attracted to you because of that, you know? It's when you actually go on the offensive and start attacking people, right? And kind of thinking like, oh, you're not as good as me, or, you know, I'm attacking you because I want you to attack me back. I'm saying that is what repels people, essentially. With Nine of Wands, another thing here, the air conditioner just went off, so I think that's confirmation for that last message. With the Nine of Wands here, I am seeing that rest is really important for you, especially with combating this combative nature. Sleeping, resting. With Nine of Wands, I see that you guys really push yourself to the limit. You are either workaholics, or you can squeeze every last juice out of every grape. You know, like I'm seeing that like for you guys, resting is really paramount. A lot of your problems are going to be solved by simply resting. And it's kind of a weird thing, because it seems like something could seem so important, so meaningful, but then as soon as you get a good night's sleep and a good meal, it's like you guys are like, whoa, where did that go? You know, it's like, where did that thing end up? Like, I feel fine now. So I do see that resting and recovering is really important. And remember that working in the same area for too long could take its toll on you in the long run. So you want to make sure that you are keeping either novelty in your job or changing jobs with enough frequency where you're kind of getting rid of the old and bringing in the new. With Five of Pentacles, I do see that underlying a lot of this, with the Five of Pentacles, there is this fear of poverty or a lack mindset. I think on one hand, you guys get into relationships where you're helping someone else out of poverty, or they're helping you out of poverty. There is this kind of vibe here of like charity in that way, almost similar to the Six of Pentacles, but because it's the Five of Pentacles, it's saying that it's something that it's like you're not ready to reach that Six of Pentacles yet. So it's saying that don't do that too much. The card's saying like, it's okay to not like pay for someone, and it's okay for someone to not pay for you. It's like okay to deal with your finances on your own. You know, you don't have to be that provider for everyone, especially with Five of Pentacles. It's talking about a lack mindset. And if the providing for others is causing that lack mindset in you, don't worry about it, right? Just because, you know, it's like you feel like if you want to debate with others, how do I put this? With the Five of Pentacles here, it's like you feel like helping people out financially erases the debating or something like that. And it's not exactly like that. This reading is, how do I put this? there's a lot of different elements to this reading that might not be joined, but I am kind of seeing them somewhat as joined, right? And you guys might not see them as joined, but they are kind of joined in a way, if that makes sense. So for example, you might not see your debating, you might think that with this debating nature, you might think in your head, like, you know, if people are dumb, like I'm going to point it out, you know, like one of those things. But I am seeing that with the Five of Pentacles here, sometimes it's a feeling of overcompensation. Like I can show love through money, or I can show love through, you know, resources, but that's not what true love is. True love is care and consideration and wanting the other person to be happy. That's what love, bringing love into the situation means. It doesn't mean paying for someone or supporting someone that you don't have to support. That's not what true love is. Love is about caring for others and bringing that love into the situation and taking their feelings into consideration and taking your own feelings into consideration with this self-protection here, you know? So Five of Pentacles is just talking about something that you don't necessarily have to do. You're not really at the Six of Pentacles stage where you can give to others. And even if you were, I would advise against it, because you're just going to keep getting pulled back into this Five of Pentacles energy, right? I would say for the most part, that giving your love is important. So love, you can think of love as a resource or a monetary thing. And you can give that love to others, right? She's literally this vase. Think of this vase as full of love, and she's just literally pouring it out over her environment. I think there's no end to the love you guys can provide. It's just a matter of choice. It's a matter of wanting to align with that love. Also with Eight of Cups, I do see you guys think often about working on a specific project or doing some education or practical routine. I see this is what attracts people to you. I see that people, I also see that with this Five of Pentacles, helping people out financially attracts people to you initially, but it doesn't hold them over the long term, because really people are looking for love. Even if they think they're looking for money, really they want love, and when they come to you, they're seeking that loving and energy more than they're seeking for like a handout, essentially. With Eight of Cups here, I am seeing that with this card being in reverse, I do see there's an achievement here, but I do think achievement is important for you guys, and to focus on achievement and winning in general, especially with the debating, the money thing and achievement. I do feel like you guys want a high status in life. You want to be the top dog. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And you think about this a lot. You think, how can I achieve this status in my life? You guys might even believe that status affects your popularity or makes you more likable or something like that, but that's not necessarily the case for you guys. You guys really are on a journey of love. And I think it's important to realize that, because loving energy and caring for others and people caring for you is part of your journey. With Swan Spirit, you guys are definitely very, very beautiful. That's another thing that attracts people to you. But the thing that I'm seeing is there's a lot about you guys that is attracting people, but maybe not for the right reasons. Or there's a lot of like disjointed elements to your personality. So for example, someone might be really attracted to your beauty, but hate your combative side. Or someone might be really attracted to the money you provide them in the connection, but you know, or like really envious of your beauty and don't want you to succeed because you're too beautiful. So there are these things and components that are, what's it called? How do I put this? Competing, right? And it's interesting because with the Five of Wands here, you tend to compete with others. And I am saying the main thing is once you start caring for others and you see people as when their success is your success, I think that's when things will start to change for you guys. I think more people will come in. You'll be way more likable. I think that a lot of people will find you really popular, really friendly, really charismatic. And I think this is a lesson in life for you guys to learn. I do think you're destined to be popular. I do think you're destined to have like a lot of friends. You're destined to have a lot of acquaintances. You're destined to have a lot of connections. But it's one of those things where you have to truly find real and true love. Sometimes it's not going to be in your own relationships, right? It could be in the relationships of other. Maybe you find that couple that loves each other and you see the love they have for each other. It stimulates you to feel love for yourself. That's the love that you create for yourself, that you bring into your next relationship. That's what creates that harmony, that perfect connection, right? With 6 here, 6 is about harmony. 6 and 0 is about harmony. 0 is always sometimes, I don't know why I get this association. I think it's because I know about the number 10, but zeros can kind of remind me of selfishness. So we see that battle between harmony and selfishness here yet again in your cards. So I hope this reading wasn't too critical of you guys. I wanted to bring out some things that we could change to make you seem more popular, because you guys are probably coming to this reading being like, popular? Me? I doubt it, you know, but you're just watching it anyway. Or you're coming to this reading being like, yeah, I really want to know what makes me popular because I'm struggling with it so much. I'm struggling to be likable or charismatic or whatever, right? this is kind of more cluing you in on what you can do to create more popularity for yourself. And honestly, I do see it as something that's naturally going to happen. So even if you guys don't actively work on it, the universe will bring things into your life to help you work on this love. They'll bring loving couples into your life. They'll bring examples of love. It's going to bring, the universe is going to bring things into your life. Time for a deep dive is going to really be beneficial when you really deep dive and analyze yourself a little bit in a loving way, right? It's not a harsh way. It's not a critical way. If you analyze yourself in a loving way, that's going to be really beneficial to increasing your popularity and your connections with others. Yeah, so I think that about covers it. If you guys like this reading, please like or comment below. If you really enjoyed this reading or you really resonated with my energy, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We're always welcoming new subscribers here at Cody Tarot. And with that said, I'm going to end the readings there. That was the last group for today. I really enjoyed reading for you guys. Like I said, don't take this too much to heart. These are things that all can be worked on if they really are periods of struggle for you. And even for some of you, I even see this as kind of just things that like you don't worry about too much. And maybe being popular is not that important to you in general. So it might not be something you have to work on right away anyway. So with that said, yeah, I'm going to end the reading there. I will see you guys in the next pick a card. Thank you again so much for watching. Goodbye.